excluded some family members from my wedding because of their discriminatory past.
Get out of here.
Throw away. But I'm 99% sure the family will find this anyway. Recently, my boyfriend, 25 male, and I, 24 male, of 4 years, got married. I come from a very traditional, if not stereotypical, Latino family. The chisme, or the gossip, is deeply ingrained in the whole family. By the way, this comes from user TaxDude2023, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the OK Storytime subreddit. So, I have about 7 uncles, one of which is also bi, like myself. He got married some time ago, and when he sent out invites to the whole family, a large majority of them declined because of religious reasons, which really saddened him. I kept this in mind when it came time to send out my invitations, and those particular family members did not get one. About a week ago, my husband and I went to my dad's house for the annual family reunion. I really didn't want to go because I knew in the back of my mind this absolutely was going to get around, despite the lack of posting on any social media. But my dad and mom really wanted me there. They are very supportive and the be loud and proud type of people, and I love them to the grave for it, even if it's a little obnoxious. The spirit is what counts, right? I voiced this concern to my dad, and he was very insistent that if crap goes south, he'll be right there with me to laugh about it. The entire time, my husband and I are getting some intense side-eye. The family that didn't attend didn't even try to hide the fact that they were whispering about my husband and I. About 2 hours later, as I am 6 or so whiskeys in, the straight uncles took initiative and decided to ambush me and ask why they weren't invited. Yeah, let's say, what could it be? Oh.
Do you know why they weren't invited?
Yeah. Just
Dora.
Yeah, I was about to say, it turns into Dora. I was polite, and I reminded them that they turned down the bi uncle's wedding for religious reasons. They responded with at least wanting to be thought about and being invited.
That's insane.
Technically, you were thought about.
Okay, retro. I know we just said in the last story, like, oh, invite because even if they don't come. Not in this case.
Well, yeah, these people are
not
bigoted.
in this case because they're bigots.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, we weren't gonna come, but we wanted you to invite us so that we could say we're not coming to your wedding.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, we wanted you to invite us so that we could tell you that
have
God
a chance to
hates you.
Yeah, we wanted you to invite us so that we had a chance to be bigots to your face. It's not fair.
I told them that I did think about them, and I decided they weren't worth the 57-cent postage to be told they weren't going to attend for bigoted reasons. It would be understanding to say that their reaction was less than pleased. Crap hit multiple fans. My uncles went off for being compared to a postage stamp. My dad was eating it up. My mom was a little pissy at me for causing a disturbance in her house, though, which unfortunately made me question everything in the moment. My grandma was giving me the judges in Spanish look. My husband kind of grabbed my hand and said, let's get out of here before you piss off any more people, in a laughing manner, and proceeded to drive us home. My dad sent me a, that's my boy, good on you for standing up for yourself text. My mom was still less than thrilled about how things went down. My bi uncle sent me a text saying, thank you for standing up for me, but now my relationship with my brothers is strained to heck and I didn't want to. My phone and social media have been blowing the heck up ever since then, but I'm kind of ignoring it. I do feel bad for my uncle because he just wants to be close with all his brothers and not just one. So, Reddit, am I the a-hole for how things went down? And there's an edit to broadly state this. I have apologized to my uncle for using him as an example in what happened, and I truly didn't mean to make things harder for him with his brothers. I also expressed that it isn't exactly healthy for his well-being to want to put up with them, knowing how they feel about him before any of this happened. He kind of remains silent on the topic, so I'm trying to leave it alone and not force it. I would say not the a-hole, dude.
I don't think you're at all the a-hole.
Your uncle who's bi is just upset that his, manufactured piece is being broken.
Yeah, it's like the freaking military, I feel like it's that kind of thing with this family, or especially with the uncles, of like, oh, we're fine right now. We're chill with our bi brother, because we're not talking about it. He doesn't bring it out. We didn't go to his wedding. And as long as we don't even have to think about it, then we're going to let him be near us.
They're just like, I'm talking to the straight half of my bi brother.
Which is a really frustrating. I think the bi brother is now having to kind of reckon with like, oh, the second that anything about my sexuality comes up, they're going to ostracize me and blame me, even though I wasn't even part of that conversation.
Yeah, they're like talking to someone over here, and then they go, "You should hear this too." Here's some comments. Number 1, I'm curious. Why do they want to be invited? Do they really get so much enjoyment out of being like, "No, nephew, I don't support your lifestyle, so I'm not going"? I would have asked, if I had invited you, would you have come? OP responds, while there is no for sure way of knowing why they wanted to be invited, they are very loudly anti-LGBT. It's no secret. About half of their Facebook posts and Instagram posts are them making it loud and clear that it's not right. My favorite one was the one that circulated in June with the family under the umbrella protecting them from the rainbow. So between that and my uncle's wedding, I decided it's not even worth inviting them. Comment 2, not the a-hole, but go ahead and apologize to your uncle. You did not really need to bring him up at all. No,
what?
I disagree.
I mean, like, I understand what they're saying, but also I think it's kind of silly because OP was saying you didn't go to this wedding, so why would you have gone to mine?
The uncle contextually is what makes his argument in that moment. So the spirit is what counts though, right? So it sounds like he agrees and loves you for it, but thought that it was a little obnoxious. OP says that I did apologize to him, but I expressed to him that this was kind of unhealthy to want to be close to people who are so against something you can't control. As for the whole obnoxious thing, I think you may have misunderstood me. Haha. He's the one that's obnoxious about it. He's gotten me several purple shirts and various articles of clothing that are purple. A couple years back, we were watching football. I don't know sports. And I asked him what a bye week is. His response was along the lines of the week where footballers sleep with men, so you better get on over there and get your pick. That kind of obnoxious. Haha. I'm glad he didn't turn out like my uncles. And there is an update here. Let's get into it. W-2s and 1099s are finally done. I finally have a break to post this. As I guessed, family did indeed find this. Between 7 uncles, one of my cousins likely showed them the post I originally made. It was obviously not received well. Anyways, I'm just going to go down the list in order of things or events that have happened. With my dad, first off, he wanted me to tell you all that he loved all the support and that he wishes to dad all of you as well. His words, quote, "It took 2 of us to make you, and I gotta say I love my work. Any parent that doesn't should never have tried." Well, your dad sounds like such a huge walking W.
Yeah,
honestly.
I love that.
My mom, she has called me asking why I brought up the events of my uncle's wedding. I told her that I was simply having a good time with my husband and everyone else, that my uncles made the conscious decision to want to start a problem. She got mad and said she just wanted to have a good party. I told her that I didn't want to be attacked for my spicy proclivities and not inviting blatant bigots to my wedding, but that I'm glad to hear that the party meant more to her. Oh, I mean, well, I think maybe pump the brakes on that. As a host.
Yeah, but
as a host, you understand.
To a certain extent, but also if one of my, the people at my parties was being attacked for their identity, I'd be like, the other person, get out of there. Like, I would blame the uncles more than the person being attacked.
That's true, but you're also not like the Latino elderly mother.
Which, this is a different type of, party.
I just explicitly as a host, strip your personality. Someone's making drama. Someone's involved in drama. Anyway, let's just continue. I don't know. We got into a shouting match over the phone. I told my dad what happened, and he's livid with her. They got into a fight, and now she's staying at my grandma's. I've apologized profusely to my dad, but he's telling me to let it go and that I've done nothing wrong. Above all else, this is what hurts the most. She was always very supportive of me, and it feels like a massive bombshell was just dropped out of nowhere.
You can just have another conversation with her, because if she's, she's not supportive of you now, I'm sure. She just doesn't really understand that this was a thing that needed to be said.
Right.
And that this wasn't something that you were trying to create drama over. It was just you were defending yourself.
And that is a much more eloquent way of saying, just pump the brakes. Because there's a lot of politics that go into how she's feeling about this. And it's like, I'm sure she supports you and your decisions. My bi uncle, unbeknownst to me, my husband invited him over so he and I could have a heart-to-heart about what happened. It annoyed me a little bit, but I'm glad he invited him over. We talked about the post I made, and he saw everyone's comments. According to him, it kind of opened him up to the crap he was just ignoring, so he could pretend to have a close bond with all his brothers. At the same time, though, he's still not sure what to do from here. We talked for a few hours and had a good cry hug about it. Everything is good on that front, and it makes me happy. He'll be seeking therapy to help him deal with his feelings on this. And the other uncles. Obviously, they are livid with me. They couldn't believe that I post something like that blasting them on the internet. They said they didn't like being painted the way I posted them.
Oh no, then maybe you shouldn't have sat for that painting the way that you did.
Oh no. Oh no. Why did you tell everyone that we're bigots? We like to keep that low key. Why'd you do that?
I didn't want everyone to know.
I just straight up asked them if they thought my bi uncle was going to the lake of fire because of his marriage, and to my shock, they had no problem saying yes. They didn't even try to dance around it. In the end, I told them if they didn't want to be painted as bigots, to lose the religious bigoted act. Plain and simple. My husband has been nonstop trying to comfort me after the shouting match with my mom. He can see the immense pain I'm in. I love that man very much, though. He took me out for steak and old fashions the other night to help get me relaxed. That's all, folks. Thank you. By the way, if you want to listen to full episodes with stories like this, all you have to do is go to iHeartRadio or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, search OK Storytime, and you will find the entire collection, the entire archive. It's over 1,200 hours now, so have fun listening to that. There is a little bit of story left. Sophia, do you have any final comments to add here?
Don't listen to your uncles. They're gonna, dude, like I've got a lot of religious family, and have heard things over the years. You just gotta kind of tune those people out, and maybe, you don't have to be around them if you don't want to be around them and if they're not going to be supportive. But yeah, I think you could dedefinitely have a conversation with your mom about this. And that's my final thought.
Yeah, for me, I'd say number one thing is I think just try to salvage the situation with your mom right now. Because it really, and it's probably her brothers.
Yeah.
Which is probably why she's a little more defensive about it. But it's I don't know. I think make her understand why you did what you did and where you're coming from. And then try your best to forgive her. Because it was I don't know. It just feels like if it continues to go downhill from here, it's almost, you don't want your uncle's stupidity to be why your relationship with your mom has gone downhill. You know what I mean? I don't know. But, you're also in the right to be you didn't stick up for me when I needed you to. What's up with that? You're right to be upset, but that's a pickle for sure. Let's finish off this story though. Hello, everyone. This blew up way bigger than the original post did. God dang. I definitely appreciate all the love and support I've received from everyone in the comments. As of this edit, I've decided to put some distance between myself and a lot of family. My dad is in support of this and will be coming over to my place more often than me going over to his and my mom's to visit. As for everything else, I've got my husband, Magic the Gathering, and a nice bottle of Crown Winter Wheat to help deal with everything else. Seriously, thank you, everyone. Words cannot express how awesome all of you are. And that is the end of that story.
Well, there we go. There you have it. I feel like you know what to do. Maybe.
Yes. The heart's in the right place.
Yes.
You got a great partner. You got a great dad.
You got a great uncle.
And,
at least one.
And we just send mom to the moon. Send mom to the moon.
She's gonna take
bit.
a little think.
Yes.
Come right back. She's gonna be like, hey, sorry about that.